So if you are in your 30s, you should 100% consider starting a YouTube channel. Either it's this year or early 2025, I think is an amazing time to consider starting a YouTube channel. And the reason I'm saying this, especially if you're above the age of 30, which for example I am, I think there are a ton of other advantages and a ton of interesting stuff that could come out of starting a YouTube channel. That's what I wanted to discuss. There's going to be like minimal editing in this video. Over in the future videos, I'll introduce a little bit of an editing, but this is more of a monologue that I wanted to just kind of get out there, get a couple of ideas off of my head at least, and talk about this YouTube thing that's going on. Number one, I think there's a lot of potential now for growth. If you go to your YouTube's homepage, you'll see that YouTube has started to recommend a lot of smaller channels. Earlier, like a couple years ago or a year ago, a lot of channels being recommended on our home feeds, they used to be like 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers, million, 2 million odd subscribers. Now, the average, at least on my homepage, I feel, at least the average recommended channels that I feel, depending on what I'm watching, and what I've been watching for the like few days before, whenever I see my home feed, is like 300 to maybe 3,000 subscribers. And I've seen channels with 100 subscribers. I've seen channels with 100 subscribers who are getting thousands of views, and I think that's a really really big opportunity across the board for anybody, of course, but especially if you're in your 30s. There's as I said, there's a lot more that we can bring. There's a lot of nuance that can come through our content as we've gained more experience. Now, the number one thing, of course, is if you look at talking about different niches, because usually what happens in our 20s, we try out a lot of different things. We start to settle down on one or two things during like in by the time we are like 30, 31, and that's fine. There's no set line. If you don't have one thing and you're 30, it's fine. I'm not just saying, I'm saying, I'm kind of generalizing here. And I think you start to tone down, you start to at least understand what do you want. So there's that niche aspect that I think works very well on YouTube. That's very easy for somebody who's in their 30s to come up with, compared to if you were in your 20s, because it's very difficult to hone down and choose one thing out of your whatever 50 odd interests that we tend to have when we are in our 20s. So as we hone down on one of those interests, I think there's potential that opens up when it comes to creating your own niche, the blue ocean strategy, as people would call it. So I think there's that potential. Number two is, as we get to our 30s, we've had some life experience. We've had probably a couple of jobs. We've been Most of us would have been fired at least once. I'm guessing, especially in this economy. So there's that experience. There's usually experience of possibly moving cities and going from school to college to working different jobs, to trying out different things. Maybe a little bit of a relationship based experience. You've gathered a lot of that, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that can come out of those kind of experiences when we are building content, when we are building references for our content, right? And I think that makes a huge difference, and that makes for a much better understanding of the people who are going to watch your videos, and hence much better understanding of what kind of videos you should do. So I think there's that potential there. So niche, your your life experience, and then of course as we get to our 30s, life takes over, house chores and family and whatnot, and we start to get less and less time for ourselves and creative freedom. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about self growth, etc., etc. I'm talking about creative freedom. We start to get much less time. So job takes up a lot of time, house chores take up a lot of time, so there's not a lot of creative freedom in a lot of other things. And if you want to try out different hobbies, it tends to become slightly difficult to continue doing those continuously, and regularly, or at least in the frequency that we'd like to do. So picking up something like YouTube can actually tie into those things. So if you just have your camera along these days, I don't know where I kept my phone, I was just about to show you. Our phones have really good cameras. So just taking our phone along with wherever we are going can help with that creative outlet or additional creative outlet that we can do. So if you're able to do something that you really really like, let's say once every 10 days, and you're also able to publish a video, kind of it keeps things exciting for the rest of the days. And let's say you don't even get time to do that, just having like a talking head video like this, or then maybe putting it down into your laptop, editing it slightly, feeling that creative rush that I've edited this video, I'm publishing it. I think every single time you publish a video, it feels good. Every single time when you are working on a thumbnail and you feel like, this is the thumbnail now I want to put out, and you publish that thumbnail in a specific video, it feels good. So there's that creative outlet that can come out of this, and you can choose your poison, right? Pick your poison here. If you have an interest in paintbrushes, or if you have an interest in fountain pens, there's channels and there's YouTube videos for everything. And I think as you start to get in your 30s, there's a lot more a lot of satisfaction that can come out of publishing videos. So you're not running behind just views, you're running behind that creative satisfaction that can come out of a finished piece of content. That is a game changer. That feels very good. That helps you build confidence. And of course, talking to camera, or creating things in which are going to be published, brings out a lot of confidence forward. Then of course there's that personal branding aspect. I've had a lot of job offers, a lot of connections, a lot of relationships built because of the YouTube videos that I've done over the years. I've been in the YouTube game for a while now, and I've tried a few different things. So I think it opens up a lot of doors. So that's an obvious one. A lot of income opportunities can open up, a lot of career opportunities can open up, a lot of new network could be built on top of your YouTube channel. So I think that makes a big difference, right? And that's definitely up there, especially if you're considering that I should, if, like, for example, let's say you've been thinking that you should give YouTube a try as a potential side hustle. That's that. And as a 30-year-old, when you talk on YouTube, when you talk about a specific subject, especially you're considering YouTube as your side hustle, when you're going to talk about something, you're going to have some experience, you're going to have some backing when you're talking about those things. So it makes a big difference for when people are actually hearing you talk about whatever it is that you're talking about. So those things coming together, I think, can bring a lot of potential forward. So just taking all of these things into mind, I think there's a lot of pluses, not a lot of negatives. Of course, there are going to be negatives along with YouTube, as it is with a lot of other things. But the positives that can come out of starting a YouTube channel, trying out YouTube, especially in like 30s and 40s, I think is really really good. Now, what I'd like to know actually is, if you've been considering starting a YouTube channel, have you been thinking about that? And if you have, do you have a niche in mind? What would you like to talk about on YouTube? Would love to hear that in the comments below. Do let me know. I'll see you guys next time with probably not a non-edited monologue. Hopefully not, right? I do like doing these as well. Bye bye.